Ambassador Ryan Crocker is here. Thank you, Ambassador Crocker, for being here. The BBG established the Burke Awards as the highest form of recognition for our agency. This year marks 15 years since the awards were first presented, and we are proud to continue this tradition of honoring BBG journalists who represent the best of U.S. international media. These journalists have distinguished themselves through extraordinary talent, hard work, and dedication to the highest standards of journalism. The Burke Awards are synonymous with courage, integrity, and bravery. Our 2016 Burke Award winners exemplify these characteristics by tackling issues of global importance, often putting their own lives and even the lives of their families in danger. Since the inception of this award in 2001, the global landscape for journalists has changed. Some might say significantly. Certainly I would. At one time, a reporter covering conflict areas could proudly wear a patch that said press. Today, that puts them directly in the line of fire. The need for journalists willing to take on these extraordinary challenges has never been greater. Around the world, the media landscape has become increasingly cluttered with fake news and propaganda websites, with authoritarian and militant regimes maintaining their grips on information and propaganda. According to the Committee to Protect Journalism and Journalists, this year 40 journalists were killed while doing their jobs across the world. These reporters, producers, photojournalists, like ours, were committed to bringing to light stories under the most hazardous of conditions. And as we recognize our colleagues, we also want to salute journalists within and outside of the BBG family who put their lives on the line every day to give people information so necessary to understand how their communities and governments are working. The work that our award recipients do and does is not easy. Theirs is a job that requires courage, hard work, and determination, and it is in this spirit that we honor them today. So before presenting the awards, we'd like to share this short video which highlights the excellent work of the 2015 Burke Award winners.
The David Burke Distinguished Journalism Awards recognize integrity, courage, and excellence across the networks of the Broadcasting Board of Governors. These brave men and women risk their lives to inform, engage, and connect with audiences around the world in support of freedom and democracy. From Afghanistan to Yemen, on TV, radio, and the web, these are the 2016 Burke Award winners. The 2016 Voice of America Burke Award winner is Islamabad Bureau Chief Aisha Tanzim. In the fall of 2015, Tanzim traveled to Kabul for an extended reporting trip that tested her courage, her planning, and her knowledge of Afghanistan's culture, politics, and security threats. The trip was taken at considerable risk. She could have easily been a target for kidnappers or militant fighters. At times, she had to travel in disguise to avoid being detected. The story she produced gave a rare, detailed look at the inroads the Islamic State militants have made in Afghanistan. The 2016 Radio Free Europe Radio Liberty Burke Award goes to the men and women of the Ukrainian Services Crimea Unit. Crimea Reality is the division of RFERL's Ukrainian service that delivers radio, TV, and online news to the people living in Crimea. Since its launch, Crimea Reality has come under unprecedented pressure and operated under increasingly dangerous conditions. In 2015, 4 correspondents were detained and questioned by Russian security agents. 9 correspondents, including the service chief, were forced to leave the peninsula. Correspondents for Crimea Reality have been banned from official events, subjected to wiretapping, public intimidation, and have seen their family members harassed. Despite such challenges, Crimea Reality has remained one of the most potent media outlets in Crimea and virtually its only remaining source of independent news.
Миссия не изменилась, мы продолжаем работать, и мы готовы к любым таким непредвиденным ситуациям.
The 2016 Office of Cuba Broadcasting Burke Award goes to Tomas Cardoso. Cardoso is a journalist and radio host of Radio Marti's daily show Cuba al Dia. Through years of building trusted relationships with independent journalists in Cuba, international NGOs, and by listening to everyday Cubans, Cardoso has helped Radio and TV Marti bring to light hundreds of human rights violations. In one case, his persistent reporting and dedication to exposing human rights violations resulted in the release of a young man falsely imprisoned on bogus charges. After almost 3 decades of working for Radio Marti, Tomas Cardoso continues to work with passion and dedication. His enthusiasm is contagious, and his dedication to a free press is unwavering. The 2016 Radio Free Asia Burke Award winner is Khmer service Vuthy Kim Huot. Vuthy has long been the face of RFA in Cambodia and is known for his tough interviews. Since 1998, Vuthy has been reporting for RFA on a variety of issues, including election fraud, poor working conditions, health care, clean water, and land shortages. As manager of the Khmer service, he was instrumental in convincing the country's first independent station to carry RFA in 2005. Today, that station is just one of 13 affiliates broadcasting RFA content. Vuthy is recognized for his fearless reporting from a country where reporters can be imprisoned and sometimes murdered for doing their job. The 2016 Middle East Broadcasting Network's Burke Award goes to MBN's Yemen correspondents, Arafat Mudabesh, Abdul Karim El-Shaybani, and Mokhtar El-Sharafi. For Radio Sawa, correspondent Arafat Mudabesh reported from the front lines in Sana'a while Saudi Arabia backed an assault on the Houthi-led capital. Most recently, Mudabesh reported from Yemen's devastated port city of Aden on the heavy clashes between government forces and al-Qaeda militants. Mudabesh's stories have also focused on the human cost of war, from disease and lack of food, water, and medicine. Al-Hura correspondent Abdul Karim El-Shibani also faced grave dangers to keep viewers informed of the events in Yemen. His reporting documented the ongoing humanitarian crisis that has affected more than half of Yemen's population. His wide circle of contacts enabled him to present balanced reporting, overcoming several challenges of covering a war. Al-Hura's Mokhtar El-Sharafi is a persistent and courageous journalist providing comprehensive reports on the security situation in northern Yemen. El-Sharafi was undeterred and continued reporting in the face of threats, in one instance risking his life by traveling to an area on the Saudi-Yemeni border to provide viewers with a first-hand account of the heavy clashes between Saudi forces and Houthi militants. Congratulations to all of the 2016 David Burke Distinguished Journalism Award winners for their uncommon courage, consummate journalistic professionalism, and deep commitment to the principles of democracy and free
Each
speech.
of our ICC network leaders one at a time to present our awards. And by the way, the award also carries a $2,500 award per network. So we'll begin with Radio Free Asia. So Libby, if you'd join me up here. And we'll now present the Burke Award to RFA's winner, Vuthy Kim Huot.
Thank you, John. Governor Weinstein, Governor Crocker, so nice to see you. It's my privilege today to present RFA's 2016 Burke Award winner, Vuthy Huot. He's an extraordinary person, a survivor. He was only 12 years old when the Khmer Rouge came to power in his country and killed his family. He survived the 4 years under the Khmer Rouge and has made himself a leader and a visionary for his country. In 1998, Vuthy started the first election coverage in Cambodia educated an entire population. Now they have overwhelming election turnout in that country, and the knowledge throughout the provinces is all due to his vision. What amazes me, and many who know him, is his spirit of kindness and generosity that comes through in every way. Despite his job working in Cambodia, facing down the government officials in face-to-face interviews, and reporting on injustice in all its forms, this requires him to be tough as nails. He's fearless, as I said yesterday. He's so brave, but he's not afraid to make time for others. To mentor the younger aspiring journalists in Cambodia, in RFA. He supports his coworkers. He shares credit with his peers. I hear he's even fearless with a karaoke microphone and able to persuade the shyest of his colleagues to sing with him. It's that generosity of time and self that's the quality we can't measure. But it's a quality we cannot live without, especially when you do the tough job that Vuthy and his colleagues do every day in the field. It's essential. And that is the quality that is so much appreciated and admired by all of us who are so fortunate to know him. I'm so proud to introduce Vuthy Huot.
Wow. Thank you so much. I normally don't read, but I'm so nervous. Just I want to read a few words. I'm very humbled to be here among such distinguished winner under the BBG network. Actually, it is my great pleasure to accept this award on behalf of my colleagues, both in the US and in Cambodia. I should say that it is the courage of our reporter, of the youth, of the Cambodian people in Cambodia that really inspire me to do what I'm doing right now. So this award actually for them as well. And in Cambodia, we together strive for excellence and integrity in the face of danger in the landscape of government censorship, oppression, and intimidation. And I'm very fortunate to be able to work for Radio Free Asia. I'm free of censorship and free of all this intimidation. And I'm able to give voice to the voiceless, only RFA that broadcasts, even though we have Facebook in Cambodia where people share and consume news, but they even now, even anonymous Facebook user, dare not post sensitive news that we do every day. And but also, as a journalist, I try to be objective, but I also know that by doing my job, I have to take stand. I have to tell the truth. It may be biased, but a bias for the truth, a bias for those who suffer human rights abuses, and bias for those whose homes and property are taken away by force. That is why my colleagues at RFA tell their story every day. And that's how we win the people's love and admiration, for which we are very proud. In the coming year, Cambodia has two elections, commune election in 2017, and the national election the following year, 2018. I look forward to working harder with our colleagues and friends to bring needed information to the people so that they can make informed decision. I'm very grateful to receive this honor. I'm very grateful to the continued support from colleagues and RFA leaders and the BBG. And thank you very much.
A bias for the truth. I love that. Next, we move on to Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty's President Tom Kent, to recognize the RFERL Crimea unit. Tom?
Thank you, John, and Governors Weinstein and Crocker, thank you for being here. It's an honor today to recognize the superb work of Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty's Special Service for Crimea, a highly deserving recipient of the 2016 David Burke Award. The service is known locally as Krim Realii, or Crimea Realities. It's led by the intrepid Volodymyr Petula. Other leading team members are Pavel Kazarin, Alexander Yakovsky, Katerina Nekricha, Anna Andrievska, and Stas Yurchenko. Crimea Realities is a lifeline for audiences in Crimea cut off from reliable local news since Russia annexed the territory. Crimea Realities also serves audiences everywhere who want to know what's happening on the peninsula. Today we recognize the dedicated journalists, editors, producers, and technicians behind Krim Realii. Crimea Realities operates in 3 languages, Russian, Ukrainian, and Crimean Tatar. It launched just 2 short months after the annexation, an example of responding to events on the ground with vision and speed. The 40-member team produces programming for television and radio. For the year ending in September, the Crimea Realities website logged 21 million visits and 46 million page views. People watch the team's videos on YouTube 11 million times. Because of their work, some of our Crimea Realities colleagues have suffered intimidation and threats, as you saw earlier. The website's been blocked by many Crimean ISPs, forcing viewers to connect by other means, and they do. 9 Crimea Realities journalists were forced to leave Crimea with their families. Journalist Mykola Simina, who is still in Crimea, is under criminal investigation. Russian authorities have charged him with extremism for his work. He's currently under house arrest in Simferopol, denied the right to leave the peninsula to receive medical care. Here's a video that tells us more about the people and work of Krim Realii.
The events of early 2014 changed the destiny of Ukraine and many Ukrainians. The occupation and annexation of Crimea influenced journalists' lives as well. In the first days of occupation, all Ukrainian TV channels in Crimea were switched off. Journalists became targets for violence.
Я даю интервью. Это мое право.
Pro-Russian paramilitary groups threatened and kidnapped civic activists and journalists. It was in these conditions that Crimea Realities, a project of Radio Liberty, was created. Its journalists came under pressure from the Russian security services from the very start. Because of threats and criminal prosecution, around 20 Crimea Realities journalists were forced to leave the peninsula, and 20 more journalists stopped working with the project, many leaving their profession entirely because of the pressure from the Russian authorities.
Частина з них була змушена покинути Кримський півострів, і зараз вони працюють на території материкової України. І частина залишаються і працюють, мужньо працюють в Криму, фактично в підпіллі, але вони продовжують виконувати свої професійні обов'язки.
In April 2016, agents of the Russian Federal Security Service carried out searches at the houses of 7 Crimean journalists suspected of working with Crimea Realities. A criminal case was opened against Mykola Simina, a writer for Radio Liberty. The Federal Security Service continues to persecute him for his writings on the Crimea Realities website.
Вже більше 2 років в Криму встановлено тотальний жорсткий контроль російської спецслужби. І в зв'язку з цим немає свободи слова і вільна і чесна журналістика вже загнана в підпілля.
Сьогодні існує вже декілька кримінальних справ стосовно кримських журналістів, які переслідуються саме за свою професійну діяльність.
Crimea Realities is now one of the most popular Crimean websites, publishing news and articles in Ukrainian, Russian and Crimean Tatar languages. It's visited by nearly 1.5 million people every month. What started in September 2015 as a radio broadcast is now a website, a radio show and a TV program for Crimeans.
We would like to thank you for this award.
This is a high appraisal of our work.
It supports and inspires us.
It will help us carry out Radio Liberty's mission with dignity and professionalism.
In spite of pressure, blockades, threats and criminal proceedings
against our journalists, we continue our work in Crimea and for Crimea.
Because Crimeans have the right to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Спасибо. Чоксагол.
Дякуємо.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This will be going to Kiev tonight.
Excellent. Now I invite Malule Gonzalez, the Director of the Office of Cuba Broadcasting.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Well, it's an honor to recognize OCB's Burke Award winner, Tomas Cardoso, a seasoned journalist and radio host of Radio Marti's daily news talk program, Cuba al Día. He started as a contractor at the Martis 30 years ago. Tomas' program connects with members of Cuban civil society, human rights activists, independent journalists, bloggers, and everyday Cuban citizens. Tomas not only hosts the program, but he has developed the biggest network of contacts in Cuba, and is able to receive story leads directly from the island, and personally follows up on each and every story, hoping to find solutions, create a bridge, or to give a voice to the voiceless on island, to the point that people in Cuba turn their time and their little money to send letters like this to Tomas so he would help them, or basically for him to share their story. In 2015, there's a particular story that Tomas worked that allowed a Cuban mother who contacted him and who happened to work with the Cuban government to reunite her with her son that had been sentenced to 12 years of jail. Because of Tomas' intervention and continuous coverage, the UN intervened, and after the international pressure, the Cuban government released the young Cuban with two demands: for the family to stop all communications with Tomas and Radio Marti, and that he abandon the island in the term of a year. Now Tomas' goal is to be able to find that young man a country that would take him before the term is over. That is what Tomas does every day in his show, generate impact stories that change people's lives, and he does this by building trusted relationships that have helped the Martis bring to light hundreds of human rights violation stories, and in numerous cases caused international organizations and governments to take action. Just 90 miles away from his homeland, in a newsroom where everyone respects him for his humbleness and ethics, Tomas Cardoso is an agent of change for Cuba, and that makes him our Burke Award winner. Thank you, Tomas.
Thank you.
Thanks, Director Lansen, other board member, and the Director of the Office of Cuba Broadcasting, Malule Gonzalez. I also like to mention the rest of the team that made possible doing our daily show that helping many Cubans. The technician Juan Pendas, our producer Ofelia Oviedo, and the panelists, journalist Cari Roque, and the human rights specialist Omar Lopez Montenegro. And finally, this award reinforces our compromise in order to provide free information to the countries like Cuba, where the government controls all radio, TV, and the newspaper. Thanks again.
So next I'd like to invite Brian Conniff up from the Middle East Broadcasting Networks. Brian?
As violence increases in Yemen, Al-Hurra and Radio Sawa's journalists face constant danger to keep people informed in their country about what's going on. 3 MBN's correspondents, Matar Asharafi, Abdul Karim Ashabani, and Arafat Mahdoudebeh, have distinguished themselves by taking immense risks on a daily basis to impart news and information to serve the public interest of the population in Yemen. Their outstanding bravery, integrity, and professionalism embody the essence of the Burke Award. It's truly remarkable to see how these people and citizens of Yemen devote their daily lives to the pursuit of empowering a society that is short of news and information, that is reliable and trustworthy. They make this a daily commitment for their communities and their country. They have not only told the daily military stories of the bombardments and military advances, but they've also focused on the devastating humanitarian conditions in Yemen. These are stories that frequently do not get told. The government doesn't want them to be told, and they make a special point of talking about the human suffering that takes place on a daily basis. We are incredibly proud of Mukhtar, Abdul Karim, and Arafat. I'd like to now show a short message from them that has them accepting the award.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. مختار الشرفي مراسل قناة الحرة في اليمن. شكرا للبي بي جي على هذا التكريم المستحق لي ولزملائي في قناة الحرة في قسم المراسلين والأخبار والبرامج، وأيضا زملائي هنا في صنعاء الذي تكاسم معهم هذا التكريم وهذه الجائزة. كنت أتمنى أن أكون معكم في الاحتفال بهذه المناسبة، ولكن لا بأس إن شاء الله في المرات القادمة. هذا التكريم يعتبر حافز ومهم جدا لمزيد من العطاء والبذل والإبداع في خاصة بموضوعية ومهنية وبشجاعة. شكرا لكم مجددا وتحياتي لكل الزملاء.
أنا سعيد جدا بهذه الجائزة وأعتبرها وسام شرف لي سيدفعني للمزيد من العطاء ونقل الخبر والحقيقة بتجرد ومهنية عالية للمشاهد اليمني والمشاهد العربي عموما. وأشكر جزيل الشكر مجلس أمناء البث الإذاعي والتلفزيوني البي بي جي في الولايات المتحدة على هذه الثقة وهذه اللفتة الكريمة.
مرحبا، أنا عرفات مدابش مراسل راديو سوا في اليمن عدن. أشكر مجلس أمناء البث الإذاعي والتلفزيوني على منحي الجائزة، وأتمنى أن تكون حافزا لي في مسيرتي المهنية. أيضا أشكر الزملاء في راديو سوا على ترشيحي. شكرا جزيلا.
Last but certainly not least, we have Voice of America's director, Amanda Bennett, who will present this honor to VOA's Islamabad Bureau Chief, Aisha Tanzim. Aisha is joining us live via Skype, we hope. And Amanda, come on up, please. There she is. Aisha, can you hear us?
Hello, Aisha. I've been told I have to look this way in order to see you. Anyway, Aisha.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, good. Long before Aisha became the Islamabad correspondent for VOA in 2015, she had already proved herself to be a brave and talented journalist, working years for Voice of America and before that BBC and other organizations, she already became a skilled journalist, writer, camerawoman. But it was after she became Islamabad bureau chief correspondent that she got the idea of taking a very brave and daring trip. And Aisha, you don't know this, but your story, the story of that trip that you took in the fall of 2015, played a significant role in my decision to come here as director of Voice of America, because I thought, how can you not be at a place where there are such amazing, brave, and talented journalists? So, Aisha, I'd like to personally thank you for your role in helping me come to this wonderful place.
Wow. Well, thank you.
And so she decided that she wanted to give a detailed look to the fate of Afghanis under the increasing hold of the Islamic State. And I don't think you all are devoted enough readers of the news to understand the kind of risks she was taking traveling into that area. She traveled in disguise, wearing a burqa. She pretended to be married to her equally brave camera operator, Rahim Gul Sarwan, who was a longtime contractor with the Afghan service. They pretended to be married, and she had to play the role extremely well by keeping silent a good part of the time, because while she's fluent in Urdu, she is not fluent in Pashto, and that could have made a very difficult problem for her. So as a result of that trip, Voice of America got a unique inside look at the way a remote and difficult to access people were suffering under ISIS. And these people, through her bravery, got a voice to tell the world what was happening, a voice that they would have not otherwise had. So I am personally pleased for the agency, pleased for the people of Afghanistan as well, to present you with this David Burke Award. Aisha, thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much.
It's yours.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to say. I didn't know what you just said about your decision, and that just makes me feel amazing. So thank you. And this award also came as a very pleasant surprise. I didn't even know I was nominated by my wonderful bosses in Central News who support me in whatever I want to do. And one day I got an email from Clara Dominguez, our managing editor, saying, I need to talk to you. When can I call? And because she's so considerate, she wrote, everything is okay, thinking I wouldn't die of anxiety waiting for her call, and not knowing I'd die of curiosity waiting for her call. But that was probably a more considerate death. But thank you. You know, journalism is a team sport. I couldn't do it alone without the help and support of so many people. I cannot name all of them, but I must thank a couple of them. Kate Dawson, our international desk editor. Thank you, Kate, for acting literally like my nanny, and every time I'm traveling through those places, for calling and yelling at me when I don't call back at the designated time and tell you I'm safe. You know, when you're worried about either the Islamic State or the Taliban capturing you, and you're playing out different scenarios in your head, it really helps to know somebody has your back. So thank you, Kate. And Carol Ginsburg, because I know what a grueling workload all editors at VOA have. And they have a stack of stories piled high to the ceiling waiting for their attention. But Carol, you always found time to look at my scripts, and whenever you got your hands on them, to give them that extra bit of TLC that made them from probably near gibberish to masterpieces of short, sharp, focused journalism. And I would sometimes look at my own stories and say, oh, I'd like to write like that. But I know it's, as they say, it's the editing, stupid. And definitely Rahim Gul Sarwan. my Pashto service colleague and now friend who provided all the ground support that helped me to do that work. I could not have done it without him. So thank you, all of them. And at the time, Barry and now Colin, my supervisors in Bangkok, who are always there for me whenever I call them day or night. And you know what? Journalists thrive on feedback, and this is the best kind of feedback. So thank you guys, and congratulations to all my fellow award winners. I'm honored to be among all of you, people who are doing such outstanding work. So such an honor. Thank you.
Try to do a picture with her in the Skype.
I should grab it.
Thank you all for coming to this such an important occasion for us to honor the journalists that really represent all of our journalists in the field, everybody's dedication to excellence, their bravery and their courage in the face of incredible and mounting difficulties and dangers. You have my heartfelt support, that of the entire Board of Governors and the entire agency. Thank you all very much. And how about one more round of applause for our winners? Good job, guys.